Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige, this is Seeking Alexandria, and guess what guys? It's been a while since I could play with my old stuff. That's right. We are diving in. This is an It's Been a While video. This is one of my favorite types of videos to film with you guys. I think on YouTube, these are called like Shop My Stash or something, where you go back through a ton of the old product you have and you pick out things that you haven't used in a while and you go through and you do a full face of it. Well, that's what I'm doing today. Except I call them It's Been a While because I always am taken back to that song where it's been a while since whatever. So I'm excited. I love these videos and I literally never have the chance to film them for you guys. So I'm just excited in general. Now, we are going to talk about why my brows are already done. I'll get there in a second. But first, let's go ahead, zoom you guys in, and let's get started with the palette because I think a lot of you are going to be very excited about this palette. Okay, guys, break it down. It's palette time. What? Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. Oh my god, like who looks at this palette and they just immediately get excited? And I picked this palette because it is something so many of you have been like, hey, do you still use it? Do you still like it? Like, you know, compare it. What do you think? Are you still loving it? Do you use it? And I get so many questions about this palette because it's so good. It's iconic. When she released her Vault collection, we all know that didn't go the best. And so when this palette is always brought up, I'm always like, man, I should get up and grab that. Like, I should use that. I should use that. And then I was sitting here thinking for today's video, there were other palettes that I almost grabbed, like the Natasha Denona Safari palette, because I get a lot of questions about that. I thought about the BH Festival palette, love that. The Perception palette from Colourpop, love that. Like, there's so many other amazing palettes, but this one really stuck out to me because like, as you can tell, look, this thing is beat all to hell, you guys. I would take this with me everywhere. Loved it. Like, formulation and everything about it was so beautiful. So I just want to sit down today and like play around, do a little look-see, and it's not going to be anything super crazy because hello, look at me. I'm feeling my neutral loving oats, but I just wanted to get to sit down, play with you guys, and hang out with this palette. So this is the palette that I chose for today. I hope that we are loving it. And can I just say, this palette is what introduced me to this type of mustardy yellow shade. Had it not been for this palette, I don't know if I ever would have fallen so in love, but that was like the gateway mustard yellow. Gateway. Oh, so good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, prime my lids. This is my Urban Eden Decay Primer Potion, and I'm going to use this, smear it on the lids here real quick, like, okay, why is there a hair? Thank you. And I'm just going to set that down with my Maybelline Fit Me in 05 Fair, by the way, and then we're actually going to get started into the portion of this video that's been a while, because at this point, it's like, hey, Paige, this is all stuff you still use. I know. So guys, I'm going to throw this out there. I know that a lot of the newer Jaclyn Hill palettes do have, I think, the names either on them or they're printed somewhere like on the palette or on the back or whatever. My palette is actually from the original, the very first launch. So it does not have any of that. And let's face it, that little plastic sheet thing, pff, girl, bye. Who are you? I don't keep those. I don't care. So I'm going to start off my eye look by going in with this shade right here. All right, and I'm starting this off with an M441 brush. I am using these brushes from the Hello James Charles and Morphe collection. I've been going through and using those brushes, testing it out. This color is just so beautiful. I'm sorry. Just having like a moment. Done, guys. Eye looks over. What do you think? I call it orange slice. So now on the outskirts of that, we are going to take in this mustard yellow here, and we are going to use that to blend out the edges of that orange shade, and we're going to have like a beautiful little sunset moment here. Ooh, I like that look. And I really want to make sure to really wiggle this yellow at the edge of that orange to create a light orange transition. Ooh, yes. Oh, and by the way, this is the Morphe M456 brush, which I've actually been quite enjoying. Oh my gosh, you guys, I totally forgot. I told you at the beginning of the video I would explain why I had to have my brows done on camera and all of that stuff. So, fun story. You will have already seen, I believe, the video that I posted on I think it would have been Wednesday, but it is the review of this Viseart Pro Palette number 2 right here with all the shimmers, and I will go ahead and I will link that video for you up there. But guys, let me tell you about that. So that video has been a nightmare to film. I am such an idiot. I went through and I deleted not 1, but 2 very needed, very usable sections of the filming process. So I have had to re-swatch that palette 3 times. I have had to redo the first part of the eye look. So anyways, I had to go in and I had to already have my brows be the same color. And then at that point I was like, girl, I am not doing brows twice today. Nobody got time for that business. So I just left the brows and then took off the eye makeup. But anyways, yeah. So I was like, that's why I had to have them on already, because I'm like, I can't go in there with 2 different color brows. Like, hello, who are you? Now, I think for today, I do want some kind of like a halo moment, because I've got that nice orange shade tucked into like the inner and the outer. So I think I want to take like a beautiful shimmery pop, maybe do 2 different ones on the center of the lid, which means I'm gonna want a nice deep, deep outer and inner corner. So I think I'm going to start that route, which means I'm gonna need a lot smaller brush. Okay, so this is the M431 brush. It's like a slightly fluffy pencil brush, and I'm actually gonna grab this deeper red tone shade right here, and I'm gonna take a little bit of that toward the inner and outer V. Then I'm gonna go back to that same M441 brush that I used to run the original orange into the crease, and with no product, I'm just going to blend that deeper red auburn shade with that orange. Okay guys, 3 hours later, I just found my Too Faced glitter glue, and I'm gonna grab some of this just on my finger. I'm gonna pat it into the center of the lid, and then I think what I want to do is actually go in with a mixture of like this beautiful pink right here, this shimmer, and I wanna set that down, and then I think I'm gonna throw this shade right here over top. It's just a little bit brighter, and I want to just brighten up this entire eye look and make it a little bit more, I don't know, like a little bit lighter, a little bit more poppy. Lately that's been kind of my aesthetic, and I have been really loving it. Now I'm gonna go in with a clean M441 brush right here, and I'm just going to blend the edges of that shimmer shade into that matte orange color. Now I'm gonna go in and grab that Morphe M431 brush, that little fluffy pencil-y brush, and I'm gonna grab that deep matte brown color, and I am really, really lightly just gonna stipple this on the very outer and inner parts of the eye, just to give it back a little bit of depth and dimension, but not hopefully overdo it. I have been known to overdo this part a little bit, so I just like to be super careful and go in with a nice small brush and really control the shades. Then I like to go in with my finger and just lightly tap over the whole area. There's no additional product on my finger. I just use like the leftover shimmers that are on it to really meld everything together, make everything, again, just look nice and veiled with shimmer, but so you can still see that dark color behind it. That's super, super pretty. I love that. Ooh, yes, 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 yes. I just realized I still have to do all of it on the other side. Okay, guys, so I ended up just going off of camera and finishing up both eyes because I realized I still have literally the rest of my face to put on, so this is gonna be the longest video ever. But love the way that this turned out. And then while I was off of camera, you guys know, I've said it 1,000 times, but lately I've been loving this whole let my primer sink into my skin before I go in with foundation. So I did go ahead and apply some primer while I was off of the camera. Now, to do that, I actually chose 2 different primers, and I picked one I've been loving lately and then an old one. That way we know when I go in with the foundation I haven't used in a long time if it's the primer or not. So on this half of my face, I went in with my Tatcha Silk Canvas, which is something you guys know. I've been using it a ton lately. But then on this side, I wanted to go in with an old school primer that I have not used in a long time. This is the Pores No More Luminizer Primer Base, which this has has a really interesting consistency, and I'm really glad that I let this like have a few minutes to really settle into my skin, because this almost goes on, and when you first apply it, it looks like concealer. It is the most interesting consistency, but then when you like press it into your skin, it disappears and it leaves like a light tackiness to the skin, but almost like you did put on some kind of a moisturizer. Like, it has a very interesting consistency, but overall it's very nice, very smooth on the skin. I don't notice that at this point anyways that there's like any pores looking like they're gone. Like, pores no more, bitch, what are you talking about? Now guys, the foundation is probably what I'm the most excited about, because I might have went out and actually purchased this foundation like 5 months ago. Not 5 months ago, that's dramatic, but a long time ago, for the purposes of this video alone. Like, what does that tell you? This is the Too Faced Peach Perfect Comfort Matte Foundation. I was so excited when I saw that they came out with other shades of this, because here's the thing. When I first reviewed this, which was so long ago, the lightest color they had was so dark on me that I remember being like obnoxiously a different color from my neck. So I ended up like, I think I either returned it or threw it away. I don't even know what I did with it, but I got rid of it. And then when I saw that they did an extended shade range, I was like, okay, girl, we talking today. So I grabbed this in the shade Swan, which now that I'm thinking about it, I think Swan is probably too light for me. God, you just can't make me happy. By the way, Real Techniques, this is their body complexion sponge, so it's giant. But we're gonna go in and pat this onto the skin. And I'm definitely starting with a very small amount of foundation because I wanna see how it's gonna settle. Oh, that's gonna be fine. Okay, we're good. Yeah, definitely a little bit on the light side, but I can work with this, you guys. I've worked with worse. Oh yeah, that's fine. Okay. So let's go in for real this time, and let's grab us some foundation. I did not shape tape the top of my brows, and girl, I am being careful. Okay, I am honestly not loving the way that this looks on my face. It looks like dusty and chalky and clingy. So that's something. Okay. Not feeling confident. Let's try to find a good concealer, maybe a slightly dewy concealer that could like help the situation, because when I tell you guys, I have options, okay, for concealer, but it's gonna take something, because I really don't like the consistency of how this is like sitting. It's like sticky, like it's sticking to me, but it feels like a flour goopy kind of stick. I'm not liking it. So for concealer, I have two options that I'm gonna use both to kind of, well, hopefully make something I can actually use. This is the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. This is, I love this. I love this concealer. Loved it then. I'm hoping I still love it now. And then I'm going to grab my white Colourpop concealer, and I'm going to try to make a mixture that will work. So I'm just going to grab some of this MAC concealer on my finger here and pat that under both under eyes, because obviously concealer is now darker than foundation. So that's cool. That's a look. Good job. Then we're going to grab this Colourpop. We're just going to dabble that right on in there. I will say one good thing about this foundation is that because it's so matte, you don't have to set it a ton. So if you have a difficult time with setting powders or your skin doesn't like them, it is a good foundation for that, because again, very, very mattifying foundation. Okay, so that actually looks a lot better in real life than it does on camera, but it helped a lot with the overall look that I was getting. This, for some reason, the way that that foundation is sitting on my skin looks really dusty, and then you pair that with like the yellowy undertone, and I was just not looking so good. So I am liking the way that this looks. I'm gonna mix up a tiny concoction on my hand here of those two concealers, and I'm gonna hit the rest of my face with it, and then we should be good to go on this front. All right, so the rest of the face is happening. This is actually coming together a little bit better at this point. Now, we will note how insanely bright and like wha-bam my under eyes are, and that's because I was in preparation for this Marc Jacobs powder. This is the Finish line, the one that like with the lid on does not look like a little macaroon. This powder, and this is one of the two that I grabbed. If this doesn't work out, I grabbed the Too Faced Ethereal powder, and I tried this before. I didn't love it, but I am again open to trying out these new things that are old that I have in my collection. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just repat out this crease right here. Now, when it comes to this Marc Jacobs powder, I actually didn't hate it the last time that I used it. It's always just been obnoxiously dark for my under eye, so I've never been able to like love it. So I'm hoping that by going in with a nice light base, maybe we can use this powder and it won't look So dark. This powder does look really, really beautiful under the eye on medium to deep skin tones. It's just because I'm a super, super fair queen that it's very dark on me. But as like a powder, it is beautiful. Again, just super, like you can already see, look at the shadow that it casts under my eye. Ugh, so dark. Now to set the rest of my face, normally as of late, I've been loving the powder puff method, but this foundation is very, very matte, and I'm afraid that if I go in with a powder puff, it's actually going to deposit a little bit too much product. So I'm just gonna grab this giant, this is the Jumbo Powder Brush number 3 from IT Cosmetics, and I'm going to basically use this to give myself like a light dusting and set the face with this Marc Jacobs powder. Just like a very light amount, like very, very light. Okay, it's looking all right. I don't think it's the powder's fault. I'm pretty sure it's still the foundation I'm not in love with. And you can see too what I was talking about with having that super, super light under eye. You can't even like tell now that I overdid it with a white under eye. But that's how dark that Marc Jacobs powder is on my skin. It is just overwhelmingly dark, but that's okay. Moving on. Oh, I'm really excited about this. Guys, for bronzer, I grabbed the Take Home the Balm bronzer. This is in the shade Oscar. I loved this bronzer. I used to use this, like I don't know if you can see that on camera. I used so much of this product that it actually has like the little dimples on it from like me breaking it down so much. Such a beautiful bronzer. Oh, I remember when these actually first came out, the 3 shades of the Take Home the bronzer, and I did a, oh my, look at that. One swipe, hello bronzer, what's going on? I love being a actual goddess statue. Whew, girl. But when these first came out, I did a full video and I compared all of their bronzers and like the colors and the undertones and yada yada. And I fell in love with this color on my skin tone. Oh my gosh. This bronzer is Stunsville and it's so even and rich in pigment. Whew, girl, yes, you better bronze up those temples. Okay guys, so for blush, I grabbed one of my absolute favorite blushes that I have not used in a while. This is the Bare Minerals Gen Nude Blush in Beige for Days, right? Yeah, I love this blush. This is the BH number 2 brush. These blushes, the Gen Nude ones from Bare Minerals, are so stunning. I am obsessed with these. Like when I first got, I have 2 of these blushes. I have this one and then the color Call My Blush, which is like the nudie pink mauve color. I used both of these blushes for so long that I had to, yet again, just like every other product that I fall in love with, I had to physically remove it from my vanity because otherwise I would just not stop using it. I wouldn't even try anything else because I loved these blushes so much. And I've talked about this one specifically before. This is the blush for you if you don't love a super blushy cheek and you just want like a bronzery blushy cheek. That's this blush because it has a beautiful bronzer tone to it, but it doesn't look overly bronzy. Like you can tell it's not bronzer, but you also can't tell that it's like a super intense blush either. Like it's perfectly just balanced to be a nice neutral nude blush, and I love it. How many times can I say blush? Blush, 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 blush. I am gonna go in and cheat just a little bit. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Set and Smooth in 120, and I'm just gonna take a tiny little amount of this, like barely any, and I am going to pat out and kind of reshape the under eye, just a freckle. I feel like I was starting to lose it a little bit, and then I like to run this type of powder on my jawline, and then just a little bit in the center of the forehead. Oh, you know what I should do before I move on? I should add a little bit of something to that under eye. I think I just want to keep it super, super simple down there, and I'm going to grab the Morphe M441, which is the original brush that I worked that bright orange in, and I'm going to grab just that bright orange color, and I'm going to throw that on the lower lash line. You guys, this shade has got so much pigment. It is ridiculous. Then I'm going to grab just a little bit of that bright yellow shade, that beautiful mustard, and I'm going to throw that right underneath of the orange. And then just a tiny, tiny little bit of that dark brown shade on that same Morphe M431 brush. I'm going to keep that very much so on the outer portion of that lower lash line, just to connect it to the top side. Okay, so for setting spray, I'm gonna grab the Too Faced Do You Fresh Glow setting spray. I remember when I did the entire like collection that Too Faced released of this stuff, and the setting spray was okay. It definitely wasn't like a favorite or anything, but hopefully now that I have on like a super matte foundation, we'll be able to see a little bit better if it's worth it, if it's good, if it does anything. So let me go ahead, I'm gonna give this a good shake. The spray on that is actually a very nice spray, but it doesn't deliver me enough product on my skin. Like, I like more like wet saturation. And the smell is nice. There's just a lot of it when you're eating it. I don't enjoy the eating part of the fragrance. Oh. But I think with this setting spray, I think the reason that I don't notice like a huge difference right away is because it's not like a super duper like wet finish on the face. Whereas when I go in with like my Urban Decay, that one you can really feel like a nice drenching, and I love that in a setting spray. Same with the Morphe Prep and Set, you just, and it builds on itself. So that one goes from like a mist, and the more that you work with it, the more you add to your skin, the wetter it feels. Whereas with this one, it doesn't feel any wetter, it just smells a lot stronger. So that's a little bit disappointing, but it does smell nice. So I'll give it that. It's just a little overwhelming when you have to use more and more of it. So anyways, let's go ahead and dive into highlight, which I'm sure so many of us, myself, are excited about because it's kind of the best part of my day. So I have a couple different highlights here. 3. You know the worst part about it? You know how I rationalized grabbing 3 highlights? I thought, well, technically I have 2 cheeks, so I can get 2 different highlights. And then I was like, well, but these 2 are by the same brand, so I might need both. Like, that was, it makes no sense, but it worked for me. So I grabbed the Kylie Cosmetics highlight, the loose one in Santorini, which, oh my God, you guys, I was obsessed with this when it first came out. She's a mess, but she is pretty. Hold on. Let me just swatch it for you, because girl. Oh, yes. That's satisfying. Oh, just highlight the whole hand. Maybe we just need a little bit more. This powder, you guys, this is going to last me my lifetime. It is so obnoxiously blinding and beautiful. Oh, I love that. Like, I don't think it's going to... There you go. Ooh. Ooh, so pretty. So I grabbed that one, and then I also grabbed 2 from Becca, which is how I rationalized it. I grabbed the shade Pearl from Becca, which I haven't even used one of their highlights in a long time. But before I had the Nikkie Tutorials Glazed Donut collab with Ofra, this was that for me because it's so light and white and beautiful that it works to lighten up and do so much on my skin tone. Like, I have to really catch the light. It's so stunning. But I grabbed this one, and then I grabbed this tiny little, this was a free gift with purchase in the shade Opal. I love this highlight, but it is so dark on me that I can't wear it by itself. Oh my God. Like, hello, is that not so stunning? Ugh. I'm obsessed. So anyways, we are going to use these 3 highlights some way, somehow, Kmart, because I love them and I'm addicted. So, okay, let's go ahead and find, where did I just, hello, where's my highlighting brush? Okay, so I'm going to grab this Morphe M501 brush, grab myself some of this Kylie Cosmetics Santorini loose highlight. This stuff is blinding. A little goes a long way, you guys. And it'll last you a long time because that little container, I've used it so many times and it looks like I've never even touched it. Oh my God, it's so pretty. Sorry, there was like a cloud of highlight dust in my face. Like, I'm sorry. Who is this queen? With this literal popping glazed donut. Here I go again. This glazing, beaming, sexy ass highlight. Like, who is she? Who is she? That is a good question. She is a queen, a goddess, and built for this highlight. Oh my God, I love this. So anyways, now we're going to take that same highlight brush. We're just going to dust her off because at this point, I'm like, my whole hand is covered in highlight, so it doesn't matter. And we're going to grab, just to match the intensity, I think we're just going to grab the Opal side. Or, ooh, what if I mixed a little bit of Opal with a little bit of Pearl? That might work out. Because the Santorini has a light gold shift to it, and Opal has a gold shift. So maybe if I just grab like a little tiny bit of that and kind of go in. Oh my God, like so much highlight. Why can't I just use highlight all over the face? Actually, that was a challenge, wasn't it? A long time ago, like right before I got into YouTube, the full face using only highlights challenge. Cause girl, I could have slayed that bitch. Me love some highlights. So, true story, I did that mixture on this side with the Becca highlights, and it doesn't look all that different from the Santorini side, which is pretty impressive, honestly. I'm actually going to put a little bit of both on the other side. So I'm going to take a tiny bit of Santorini, pop it on this side, just to make that same gold reflect come alive. I'm going to take a tiny pop of the Pearl highlight, put it on the Santorini side, just to give it a little bit more of that icy feel, because the Pearl highlight does have that slight ice vibe to it because it's so white. Okay, so I love how this is looking. That dewy setting spray from Too Faced isn't giving me what I want or what I'm going for. So I'm going to grab my Urban Decay All Nighter. I'm going to give myself a good old spritz. All right, so I'm going to let this dry the rest of the way. I'm going to throw on some mascara. I will be right back, and I will show you guys the completed look. Oh my God, I feel so fabulous when I fan myself. I'm like, okay guys, so I went ahead, I got the rest of my face all finished up, and let me tell you something, guys. I'm feeling so fancy right now. I don't know what it is about this makeup that just makes me be like I'm feeling like I want to throw a scarf on. Like, this is with my hair up like this and this dramatic face. I feel like I should be wearing a scarf. Oh yes, you guys, isn't that perfect? I mean, imagine you can't see the t-shirt and it's just like this big cozy scarf with this like super intense face of makeup. Girl, this is it. I'm happy. I'm dreaming. I'm living my life. This is gorgeous. Okay, can probably take the scarf off now. I just had to like complete the vision and see if I like it. I do. Also, P.S. I did go in and deepen up my brows. I made them a freckle thicker just because I felt like with this bold of a look, like my hair is back, we could pull a little bit more of a bold brow. I'm kind of loving it. Okay, and also, what is on my lips, you might ask? Oh, glad you did. So I grabbed this, and I haven't used one of these in a long time, you guys. This is the e.l.f. matte lip color in Praline, but it's one of these like lipstick stick, actual like lippy stick pen type styles from e.l.f. And I purchased the entire kit of these like a year or so ago. There was like 12 colors in it. They're super beautiful. This is the color, and it's again the shade Praline, and I love this formula. It is a matte formula, so it does feel very dry, but then I went over top of it with a gloss, and I haven't used this in a long time. This is the matte lip glass in the shade, oh God, what the hell does, Mac, what the hell are you thinking? I can't read that. It definitely says Oysterized. So I don't know. This is such a beautiful combo though, and I have not used a MAC lip glass in a minute. And at first I was like sniffing it. I'm like, is this still good? But it is. It's fine. It just like, it threw me way off. And it is this beautiful sheen right there. Oh my God. It's like a clear white, but has like flecks of this like white reflect in it. So anyways, let's go ahead and run through the rest of the stuff on my face. As far as overall how it turned out, love the look. There are definitely some products, however, that I probably wouldn't reach for again by themselves. So let's go ahead and kind of run through that. I don't hate this Pores No More base. I'm not seeing it making a huge difference as of yet, but a lot of times primers like these don't make a huge difference until like a couple hours in. So I will leave you updated down in the description box about this guy, if I like it, if it made a difference, all that kind of stuff. The foundation, guys, I really wanted to love this foundation. Like, you have no idea how much I wanted to just like dive in and be obsessed again. However, if I use this again, it will only be as a mixing foundation. I would need to add something luminous because it feels painfully matte on my skin. And I remember from testing this the first time, the one characteristic of this foundation that I do not like is the fact that it is so sticky. Like, it sticks to itself, it sticks weird to my nose, it sticks into all of my creases, like on the sides of my nose, it goes in there, sticks and separates. Smile lines, sticks and then separates. It's just what it does, because overall this foundation, I just find it to be so like, every time I go over it with my beauty sponge and I'm like pressing it into the skin, that's what I hear. And I just I just do not like that type of consistency in a foundation. A lot of people love it because it means it's going to wear better. It means that it like really sticks to your face. Unfortunately, on my skin, I have a lot of like fine lines and texture and things like that. So what that usually means for me is that it's going to stick to my fine lines and texture and emphasize the hell out of everything, which is kind of what it's done again here and in my lighter lines on my face, as well as over my texture. They're not super smooth. So this one should go without saying. Jaclyn Hill palette, you guys, I love this. This is the OG. OMG, this is amazing. I have nothing bad to say about this palette. When it first came out, I used it religiously for like a month straight. I would not pick any other palette. I only use this because it's so beautiful and the colors blend and buff so effortlessly. In another 3 years, I'll still be talking about how much I love this palette. If you are looking to pick one up, if you're like, I want something relatively affordable with a shit ton of color and crease colors and shimmers, and you want something that is affordable but still amazing, this is so good. And again, it's definitely been out. It's a tried and true formula. So after that, we had concealers. Love the Colourpop. The white concealers are so good. Again, I don't use this as like a regular concealer. I use this as a brightening agent for my face, for my super pasty skin, and I love it for that. As far as their actual concealers, I do think they're good, and I think they're worth trying if you're not sure if you like them because they're super affordable. The MAC concealer, I love that MAC concealer. I've used that so much. Like a year ago, it was probably the only one I used for, I'd say, a couple months. Like, I religiously used it. I mixed it with Shape Tape. I wore it alone. I mixed it with this. I'd mix it with my foundation. Like, it was just such a beautiful, nice concealer. The way that it goes on, it sets onto the skin. The coverage is medium to full, so it's not 100% full, but it's very nice, beautiful, and again, it sits down really naturally. Moving on, you guys, this powder from Marc Jacobs, I actually remember when I first started using it, I was really pissed off because I wanted to use it under my eyes so badly, and I just can't because it's so dark. But then I would use it on my face, and again, this is back when I was super oily skin, like very oily all over my face, and it just wouldn't do anything for me because I was so oily, and this is such a finely milled, like refined feeling powder. My oil just like demolished it. It was nothing. Like for me, this was like throwing a cup of water onto a house fire. Like, it's not gonna do nothing. It didn't change nothing. The roaring oils of my face just kept coming for my life, and I couldn't use it, so I put it aside. And now that my skin has actually changed and I'm really enjoying a lighter pressed powder, a lighter refined powder, anything like that, I will definitely try to keep working with this a little bit more. And guys, this goes without saying, but that Balm bronzer, I am obsessed with this. Like, how beautiful, how like bronzy but natural-ish is that? And it's so buildable and it blends like a freaking dream. I love that bronzer. I loved it then. I love it now. Same with the blush. Those Gen Nude blushes, girl, those do not play. They're so beautiful. Those highlights, hello. My cheeks are gonna be popping for the next 6 years. Like, these things are so beautiful. Love them. Now, as far as the setting spray goes, I'm still not 100% sold on it. It's a very dry kind of spray, which just isn't my type of aesthetic. It's some people, they love it. That's fine. For me, not my favorite. For the lip combo, love both of those items. The MAC lip gloss used to be one of my favorites, and now that I've tried so many formulas, it is a little bit thicker than I would like, but it's still beautiful and has amazing reflection to it, so I love that. Oh, for the mascara, by the way, I did go in with my L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise. I happened to find one of these, and I thought, okay, it's been a while since I've used one of these, and it's still not my favorite mascara. It's a good drugstore mascara. I have nothing against it. To me, these don't last as long as I would like a regular mascara to last. It only lasts me like a month. Not even a month. Who am I kidding? It lasts me like 2 to 3 weeks before it starts to get like clumpy. When you first open this and go to town with it, it is amazing. It's a beautiful, like, thinner formula, but I just find that over the course of like 3 to 4 weeks, it just gets so thick and I don't like it, and for some reason it just changes, and I'm not a fan. I feel like this lasts a third as long as all of my other mascaras, regardless of how long they're supposed to last. It just doesn't last, you know what I mean? And I grow to not like the formula after 2 weeks. So they're okay. I have nothing against them. Again, I think they're a great drugstore option. My favorite mascara of all time remains the Urban Decay Perversion Mascara, because girl, that stuff does not play. It is so beautiful and amazing, and I love it. And you guys, I think that that's it. Holy crap. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below if you love these types of videos, if you want to see them more often, because I personally love these kinds of videos because we get to like sit down, hang out, try some old product. I didn't have to like buy nothing new. I got to use what I already had. Like, this is kind of my moment. I love it. So let me know, again, all of your guys' thoughts down below. Let me know what old products you have been into lately so I can see if I have them and I can see if I still love them. And if not, I want to touch them. So let me know all of your thoughts down below. Also, if you're curious what goes on behind the scenes, check me out on Instagram and on Twitter. They are both linked down below. I am on Instagram all the time. It's obnoxious. I love to post pictures, makeup looks, selfies, cats, the works. And I'm on Insta stories a ton too. So if you miss me like during the day or whatever, after you've already watched my daily video, you're like, I need a daily dose of Paige, go there and check me out as well because I'm always there. It's a thing. Now, if you have not yet subscribed, please be sure to do that as well down below and hit the notifications because, guys, I am here Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, putting up a brand new video every single morning for you. We do a vlog every Monday or some kind of lifestyle fun type video, and then Tuesday through Friday, we dive into makeup and loves and hates and favorites and this and that and reviewing palettes, and we do so much stuff on this channel, so you'll definitely want to be subscribed for that. Do that down below. You guys, I think that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to have a great day, night, weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Did I just squeak? But I just want to play down. What? We are doing another one of my favorites. Stop. I don't even know where I was going with that sentence. We are. You gotta get away from here. Ooh, stop your crying. It's the sign of the times. Ooh, okay, almost just dropped all the brushes on the floor, so that's probably not going to help us. Just saying. That's how dark that Marc Jacobs, okay, I don't know where that came from. Okay, so for setting spray, I'm going to grab okay, so so that pretty much dries down very quickly because, again, oh my god. Sorry, there's stuff that's like in my throat. Huh. Diet Coke, I need you. Why can I not get sponsored from McDonald's? I don't understand. Hello. Two trailer park girls go round the outside, round the outside, round the outside.